Hey y'all, welcome to the Spill Podcast with your boy Ken.
BDate in the building.
Your boy D5, man.
And we're gonna talk about these new beginnings, man. Y'all finding yourselves and just living life, just trying to learn yourself.
Facts. I guess we was chopping it up. Ken was giving me a cut. We were just talking about I guess in life, freshman year of high school is damn near where you make or break.
Nah, for real though, for real, you find your group of friends who you want to hang out with. You find out kind of who you really want to become.
Yeah.
In its own, it's soul searching.
It's soul searching,
really.
In its own.
Because one thing I personally went through in high school freshman year, I learned that, I did band, throughout high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, that was cool, but going into high school, it was looked down upon, why are you doing band? You play basketball, why are you not devoting all your time to being a hooper and stuff like that?
Nah, for real though, for real.
One thing that showed me, freshman year, I had a good group of friends, older friends, in the band and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed me it was okay to have multiple interests,
have different avenues.
Because too many times it seems like today, people say you have to find a lane and stay to that lane and that lane only.
Yeah.
Very
And
true.
I can agree to that to a certain extent if you
Right.
want to take something
Serious,
serious
yeah.
to
To
a
the next
professional
level. Yeah.
But for me, in my case, where I'm 5'5" and I know I'm not going pro in the
Yeah.
NBA or nothing like that,
Nah, for
and I'm
real.
not Squidward or the clarinet stuff,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? I'm let me find all the things that make me happy, things that I want to do,
Yeah.
and explore those things. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But I know not everybody's situation is the same as mine, because sometimes freshman year is hard because that's when the negativity can start creeping in. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I point out your flaws and
Right.
That was a
whatnot.
big deal for me.
Yeah.
Seeing how, everyone's mixing in
Mhm.
and everyone, especially from the outside,
Right.
Yeah.
and all the popular kids and going all that. It's just why am I not there?
Why? Yeah.
Exactly.
And what can I do?
That's what it is, bro. You start doubting yourself.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
you start-
you're doing something wrong.
Right.
When really and truly, you don't know better. You don't know better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but really,
You know what I mean?
like we were talking off the camera, like we say, high school all boils down to a big old popularity contest.
That's really what it is.
So
that's all.
so
That's
really,
all it
so
is,
really,
bro.
if you're not, I want to say this, if you're not in the sports group at your school or just sports group in general,
Yeah.
you're not gonna really be a part of the
You're not
in
gonna be
crowd.
that upper tier of
Yeah.
Yeah.
what high
Like,
school is.
like a star quarterback
Right.
versus somebody in the band. There's
Yeah,
different
right.
levels of high school
It's levels.
popularities.
It's levels, bro, and it's sad that it is like that,
Yeah.
but it's just the reality.
It's
of
just
it.
how
it
is.
goes.
It's
Yeah.
just
And
the reality.
and the crazy part is when you get out of high school, you can really see and tell who peaked in high school.
Right.
Exactly.
You can
But-
tell.
Well,
Man.
we know people.
We know.
Yeah,
we know
we know.
people who
They
pick
get out of high school
Yeah.
and they not doing nothing.
Nothing.
Not doing nothing.
They're spinning,
So-
spinning their wheels in the same place, bro.
Yeah.
They ain't going nowhere.
Right on.
And to
right
touch
on.
on that, bro, I think that's one thing. I hope people watching get out of this is
Facts.
if you're a freshman in high school, especially do things because you want to do them.
Right.
Yeah, don't be a follower.
Right.
Too many of those.
Don't follow the crowd.
Be yourself.
Yeah,
Be yourself.
Yeah.
Be yourself. And I know, since it's freshman year, you're trying to figure out who you are.
Mhm.
But again, don't be a follower. Don't do things because other people do them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because
That's the
more
biggest
often
thing.
than not, the things people are doing in high school, especially, they're not sustainable most of the time.
Nah,
Right.
For real.
You know what I'm saying? People just they stuck in quicksand. You
Right.
know? And at the time being, it could look nice, and it's oh, this is cool. This is what I need to be doing. But you're doing it for the satisfaction of others.
Yeah, you're not fulfilling yourself.
Yeah.
You just really
You're doing it for public opinion.
And then when high school goes away, you're empty again.
You're
You know
empty
what I'm
as
saying?
fuck because you don't know what to do with yourself.
You're empty again,
Mhm.
and it's crazy because, again, as I climbed up high school ranks or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
sophomore junior year, I'm okay, I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't fit into one crowd particularly well, but every
Right.
crowd kind of knows who I am.
Exactly, that's how it
I'm
was
doing good. You know what I'm saying?
Valid.
One day I could sit at the cool kid table. The next day I'm over
Exactly.
with the bench people. The next day I'm with the hooper dudes.
I didn't.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't truly feel comfortable with not necessarily who I was because I wasn't who I wanted to be in high school. Even at
Exactly.
the end, but I didn't
what
feel
you mean by that a
comfortable.
little bit, bro? Like,
Well, when I look at who I am today,
Yeah.
and then when I look at, again, who I was in high school, it's just like, that's just not me. And that wasn't the end goal. And it's just a lot of pretending, not in the sense of pretending to be someone that I'm not, but just, that's just
you
not
just
me.
didn't, yeah.
That's just not me.
Now, did you feel that way, I guess, in the moment? Or was it kind of just like, I'm doing this because I feel like that's necessary right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A lot of times that's hard to decipher.
For real. Freshman year, sophomore, especially freshman year and sophomore year, and y'all know me forever. Yeah, definitely doing that just to get the satisfaction right now and right then. Definitely, there's nothing else to say other than that. I was definitely doing a bunch of stupid stuff and doing things just to climb those ranks.
Just to, just to stay afloat.
Right on.
I feel like with me personally, like I feel like I sheltered myself in a sense. I feel like I was holding myself back from really being the person I really wanted to be because of the fact of how people are going to think of me or if I'm going to be good at it or just it's really mainly just how people are going to view me.
And no, that to your point though, that's 100% correct because that's how I was.
Exactly.
I was doing stuff to fit in with everyone. That the stuff that I was doing that truly wasn't me.
Exactly.
But what's so crazy though is that when I look at it, looking back on it, doing all those things to fit in, obviously it may have gotten by at the time, but I still had doubts from people, we don't really mess with him. Yeah. But now that I truly am me, my relationships with people have never been better.
Right.
Never been better.
See, and how y'all both kind of were like, y'all did things that weren't really yourselves.
Right.
I was in the opposite angle of where, like, it's not that I did stuff that I didn't want to do, but sometimes I didn't do stuff that I wanted to do because it would be like, oh, this nigga's out here doing some weird stuff.
Exactly.
That's not what this group of people does, and this is the group of people that I wanted to be in with. You know what I'm saying? So I guess there's a fine line of like you can mess up by doing things that you don't want to do, but you can also mess up by not exploring new avenues and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So that all kind of ties in.
I mean, F the fame.
That's
really what it is, really, and I wish I knew that in high school because that's what I was trying to do things.
I mean,
to gain
personally, I feel like we as us three, and as as our other members of our squad,
as our little group,
I feel like we found our niche, like not maybe our niche, but like as a group we found our niche, like hanging out together was our thing. We found out how pretty early, like our sophomore year, we became like a real squad, a whole group chat and everything.
That's a fact.
From sophomore year, brewing after that, it's just like
6 years strong, bro.
6 years strong, like bro, we really there for each other. Like
what's crazy?
It's all love.
How I would describe our group, bro. I think we fit in with each other because we all don't fit into the group, bro.
For real, bro. That's really how it is because we all just chameleons in the sense we get blended with everybody's group.
That's exactly it, bro. We some chameleons, bro.
But we just chameleons hanging together like shit. We a squad.
That's real, bro. And to those of you guys going out with the same issue, this doesn't stop in high school, unfortunately.
It don't. It continues on in college. In college, I ain't gonna lie,
and
like
in the real world,
college is worse than high school because from the fact of like after high school, like high school is like the part one. I would say like high school is like just really try out what you want to do and see what not. And then once you graduate high school, you kind of reflect on the whole life experience of high school. And you be like, wish I would have done this better, do this better. Right. And then college like almost like it's a part two.
It's like a second chance.
It's a second chance. But then again, with that being said, sometimes people go way above the second chance and do something like that they're not. Like they go.
People go off to college. Niggas go off to college and try to be hood. Try to sell that story.
Bro, like,
hood, dog.
Bro, you from Mansfield, Texas.
You from
like you trying to sell that
from the ag,
and we personally, we know
some people
like that.
Like, bro, you stayed down the street from me in a nice 2-story.
Mama got a fat ass 2-story house.
Like, why
2 cars.
You up? Like,
it's a new chance. And that's the greatest thing about it. It's a new chance, but it's how you utilize that
take it.
new chance.
Yeah.
You either gonna stay true to you
Yeah.
And people are gonna flock to you because, again, like I said, once I became me,
relationships,
all the like popularity and all that stuff that I wanted throughout high school, that came to me by being me.
Right.
Exactly.
So
you know, real, bro, just being yourself.
And then essentially what happens is the popularity that you need comes because you out here being yourself, running on this track.
Yeah.
Right.
And the other people running with you is the people you need to be running with.
Yeah.
It's not
you know, there's a saying, all publicity ain't good publicity.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So, and that's to your point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the popularity that you need, the people that you need in your circle, in your life, that will come too.
Right.
No, for real.
I agree, bro. And just going along, like, the negative side of it is, like, in college, it's a fresh start. It's a clean slate. Like,
right.
And depending on where you go, it's like, it can either be, like he said, a very clean slate, or if you go somewhere local, it could be like
high school part 2.
High school part 2, almost in a sense.
Yeah.
And like,
and I'll take it like for my example personally. Okay, so I went to school in the Arlington area near Dallas.
Yes.
And then go off to college, Texas A&M, down south, right? So for me, I could, if I wanted to, have been a totally different dude.
Yeah.
Claim whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And nobody would know besides the 5 or 6 people who went to high school.
Right.
Which is where you're gonna see them.
Right.
Because you're in a big old market like that.
I'm in a big campus, right? So I could have did that. I could have spiraled down the path and like hung out with clowns. But I know if you hang out with clowns for a long time, you're gonna eventually become part of the circus.
No, you don't.
And that's that.
So
and that's that.
I chose not to do that and like really take freshman year to like discover. For me personally, I'm not the party goer and stuff like that. But I will go to an event like you said just to see what it's about. You know, I'll go out, step out every other week or so, and at least try and interact with that crowd. But like the smoking and drinking for me personally is not what I do. But I've gotten to the point where it's like if I see other people doing it, like it doesn't affect me because I know like I guess the temptation isn't there for me and.
You're the same person.
Like I'm the same person, and I know like my relationships with the people I have with me isn't going to be affected by alcohol or drugs.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, in that sense, I guess like I've grown, and that comes from like again just taking that year, freshman year to really discover my do's, my don'ts, my maybes, my hell no's. You know what I mean? Like
for real.
I don't know. I think everybody needs that kind of experience, bro. Like, what was yours like? I guess.
Like my freshman year in college was.
Boy went to West Texas.
But I went to Angelo State University, somewhere, West Texas.
With the tumbleweeds and
tumbleweeds, 1 lanes,
facts,
all that,
facts,
1 stoplight, all that shit. But I mean, my experience. My school was kind of like a party school my freshman year. They had a lot of parties going on.
Yeah.
And me, as in my household, my mom's very Christian household. So we're by the book, by the Bible. No cap. So getting tattoos or going to parties and stuff like that was a big no. I didn't really experience that until my senior year in high school. I got my first tattoo. I damn near got crucified for that one. But shit. After that point, I kind of like started finding myself. And then when I went to college, I took that upon myself to really go crazy and
just to experience it.
Just to experience myself and see what I don't like, what I didn't like. And I went to a lot of parties. Did a couple things, man. Met people that I'm cool with to this day still. And I just, if I could do my freshman year in college over again, I would. Since I could be more mindful on my school stuff, because personally, I went to college to get away in a sense, to kind of like become who I wanted to become. I really well focus on school.
You didn't really go there for the education.
Yeah, I went there for education, yes, but it wasn't like that's in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
What's in front of my mind? What I'm gonna do tonight? What I'm gonna do later on this weekend? Who I'm gonna talk to? Stuff like that.
Right.
And I mean, add that right there. I met a lot of fake people. Met a lot of real people. I met some people that I'm still close with to this day. I mean, it's how you take it, and how you just grow from it. But you do have to know your limits.
Yeah,
that's the one thing that's definitely gonna test you in college is your limits, because when you free, ain't nobody to tell you no, really. If you have a group of friends that's telling you no, or just you have that within yourself, it's gonna be kind of tough. It's gonna be a lot of hardships, a lot of rough roads to learn. Cause trust me, this shit not easy. But definitely gotta be on your school shit.
Yeah.
Definitely got branch out and experience new people, new things. Mm-hmm. Don't be scared to be who you want to be, man.
That's what people don't understand, bro.
They don't, bro.
There's so much pressure on that age group, 18, 19, 20-year-olds,
young adults.
The young adults, yeah.
Just like I said earlier, stay in your lane, but it's nah, bro.
I want to hop into somebody else's lane
and
learn that shit.
You gotta get out and explore.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, bro.
And again, in a way of soul searching, you gotta, for some people it may work. Don't get me wrong. Some people feel like staying with the same group or the same clique. That works for them. That's cool. But for most, when they do that for so long, they start to grow unhappy and they get stagnant with
resentment,
their life.
Yeah,
resentment. Yeah.
So you gotta, you gotta experiment. You gotta meet new people. Go new places and stuff like that. You got to.
Because I don't know, man. I think that is important, and I guess that year or that time or whatever it is, it shows you what you value the most.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whether that's loyalty, whether that's friendship, whether that's some
your relationship with
God,
yeah,
and how you treat other people, whatever it is, and that's the one thing I want to stress, in this thing, is everybody's journey is different,
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I had, big university, small university, and
no university.
You know what I'm saying?
At all.
The crib, you feel me?
Yeah,
So
that's really it.
Everybody's different.
Everybody's everybody's university. Everybody's journey is different.
Right.
But at the end of the day, the destination should be what you want, and that should all tie into what you hold.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I guess give us the third perspective of
I
taking
didn't
the
go.
year off. Yeah,
I didn't go. So stepping out of my comfort zone was getting used to not being in high school
in a structured
and
school environment. Yeah,
and I mean, it still sucks because for one, I learned who my circle is and who my real friends are. And I'm fortunate enough to know that my real friends were y'all and the people that I saw in high school. So not seeing them every day was tough or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I was pretending so much, and then it's okay, I'm in the real world now. I can't really do that no more.
Yeah.
And that led to a lot of hard times behind the scenes for me personally, because it's just again, you spend time with you the most. You spend more time with you than anyone else.
More than anybody else, you're gonna talk to yourself.
That's it.
More than you talk to anyone else, man.
Right.
That's
and so that was my, stepping out of my comfort zone. Because again, I didn't go to school.
Right.
So it was just who am I really? Now that I'm not in school, now that we're not all in this one structured environment, and we're all meeting there at 7:25 for 8 hours a day.
Jesus.
It's who am I really now?
Yeah.
And that was the hard part for me to try to figure out. And
bro.
It was a lot of sleepless nights that I had, and it was some tough times. It felt like hell. It really did.
Yeah.
It really did. And I'll just never forget. It was one night where I really didn't want to continue on. I wanted to quit, and I just heard a voice saying, it's time to step right, get right.
Yeah.
And so that's when I found God. That's when I found God. I always knew He was. I grew up in church.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of stuff happen to me over the course of my life that made me step away from church. But, that night I was just look, I got to get back. I got to get back. And so that was now let me tell you something. You leave church, you become this,
this person
that you
this
really,
version of yourself.
this version of yourself, and you go back into church. That was
my eyeballs. That
was a shock for me.
Yeah,
because I remember the first time I went to Crossroads, And now, generally speaking, Crossroads doesn't really have like a dress code or anything. You can really wear whatever you want. But like as soon as I walked in the door, I remember the first time I walked in the door, people were looking at me like, okay, he doesn't belong here. He's not. He's really not, like, he's new. You can tell. Yeah. And just seeing how everyone react. Everyone's so. Now I'm not an asshole, but seeing everyone, all giddy, shaking hands, all that stuff. I was like,
it throw you for a loop. You're not used to it.
It's different. What the hell is going on here? I'm like,
niggas real friendly.
Yeah. I was like, bro, what the hell is going on? It was so different. People communicating that blew my mind. How people were just openly communicating and just talking and all this and all that. No phones, none of that. None of that. That was life changing. And so that first day, and then when I went to the service, by God, I mean it caught me. Yeah. It did, and it's one of those things where it's just like, wow, like I was meant to hear that.
That's good, bro.
It was one of those things I was meant to hear that. And so it was good enough to catch my attention and make me come back the next Sunday, and the next Sunday, and the next Sunday. And the next Sunday.
Until it became a routine.
And until it became a routine. Yeah. And that's another thing that I feel like is important. Because most times when people when people our age go to church, it's because the parents are going to church.
Yeah.
I feel like you gotta
yourself.
Yeah, you gotta go for you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta find that out for you. It's gotta be something that you want to do.
That ties into everything we've been talking about. It's like whether it be a church, whether it be a job. Like some people go get a job just because they're like, oh well, let me pass the time by. If you're miserable at that hoe, like
why are you going?
Why are you going?
You're wasting time.
You're saying? Somebody you love. Same thing with like a relationship. People can be in the most toxic relationship ever, but if they're in one, to say they're in one, it makes them like okay on Twitter or on Instagram because they have somebody to post, but like they're not happy inside.
People they're afraid. I don't know if afraid is the word, but maybe it is. They're afraid to stand on their own. They are depending and leaning on, all these social factors, the likes on IG and all that stuff. I mean, they just can't stand on their own.
And if you can't stand for nothing, you fall for everything.
You fall for everything.
That's
it.
Yeah.
That's just the spill, bro.
That's the spill. That's the spill, man. That's the spill.
That's just the spill. That's just our 2 cents, man.
Man, it's the spill, man.
It's the spill. You feel me?
Long episode, man. But we out here, new beginnings.
Facts.
Right. But just, just as a whole, sum it up, man. Just go ahead and find yourself.
Stay prayed up, guys.
Stay prayed up.
Find yourself. And lean on people who
are like-minded
as you and have
your best interest,
and also have a strong rooting in themselves as well.
It's facts.
Because if you know yourself, you can help others.
Exactly.
But not a second before.
Spirituality works, people.
You feel me?
And I hope y'all get into that for real.
For real.
It's been your boy BDate.
Boy Kid.
D5, man.
And that's the spit.